What's up, BookTube? Sandy Golston back here, getting ready for the extra late Book of the Month review. And the only reason that this is late is because when I got the box, and I ordered it right on time, but when I got the box, my air conditioning went out in my house, and it was basically like, I don't know, surface of the sun hot in my house. So I wasn't really in much of a mood to shoot videos. But we're beyond that now. The air conditioning is fixed, and I'm ready to bust open Book of the Month. Like you, I'd rather be reading. Okay, so this month with Book of the Month, I ended up, I wasn't like super excited about the selections for July 2020 Book of the Month. But at the same time, I saw some books that were really intriguing to me. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick. I decided not to pass because I thought, I knew number one, there was an add-on book that I had to have that I passed on the previous month. So I knew I was going to get that at least. And then I started to skim through the offerings for this month, the month of July. And I'm like on the fence right now if I'm regretting not getting Mexican Gothic, because I see a lot of people are talking about that in some Book of the Month groups on Facebook. They're talking about that. And so I'm wondering if maybe that could be my add-on for the month of August. We shall see. Stay posted. But I did pass on Mexican Gothic, and so I ended up picking Head Over Heels. That was my pick for the month. Hannah Orenstein. Hopefully I pronounced that correct, but if I didn't, maybe somebody will point it out in the comment section. So anyway, Head Over Heels. It says she's determined to stick the landing. And I saw this, and you know, one thing about me is that, you know, I do have a rich sports background. I've been involved in sports a lot, pretty much my entire life. And that includes being a newspaper sports reporter for a time and now being a sports broadcaster doing basketball and football games. And so I really dig sports, and I'm really a big fan of sports fiction. And so when I see the sports angles, sometimes, you know, I get a little bit intrigued, more than a little bit intrigued. And so that was the case with Head Over Heels when I saw what this book was about. And it was kind of the reason when I was on the fence between this and Mexican Gothic, I ended up picking this one. So, Head Over Heels. Okay. Can she bring home the gold at the gym and with him? So, the past 7 years have been hard on Avery Abrams. After training her entire life to make the Olympic gymnastics team, a disastrous performance ended her athletic career for good. Her best friend and teammate, Jasmine, went on to become an Olympic champion, then committed the ultimate betrayal by marrying their coach, Dimitri. So this is heating up already. Now, reeling from a breakup with her football star boyfriend, Avery returns to her Massachusetts home where her old acquaintance, Ryan, now a coach, asks her to help him train Haley, a promising young gymnast with Olympic aspirations. Back in the gym for the first time in years, she's surprised not only by Haley's talent, but also by the sparks flying with Ryan. But when a shocking scandal in the gymnastics world breaks, it has shattering consequences for the sport. Avery isn't sure her burgeoning romance can survive it. So there's a lot going on in this book right off the rip, and I just, when I started really looking at it and reading into it and thinking about it more and more, I felt like this one was just too good to pass up. And I've seen some people already talking about it on Facebook in the Book of the Month group, and they're generally speaking, I think, fairly highly of it. And so I thought, you know what, I'm having zero regrets about picking up Head Over Heels. Okay, so my next two selections are Book of the Month picks that I passed on in previous months, rather reluctantly so, because both of them I thought sounded really good. And I eventually decided, hey, this is a good month for me to pull the trigger on both of these books that I've heard people talking about and thinking very highly of. And so the first of these books is A Good Marriage by Kimberly McCreight. And I've read Kimberly McCreight before, and it was an audio book that I did, and I really enjoyed the book. And so I thought, you know what, usually when I strike gold once with a writer and I like their style, or I like the kind of topics that they write about, or hopefully the best of both worlds, I typically am more willing to give that author another try. And that's the case with Kimberly McCreight. So, A Good Marriage. Lizzie Kitsakis is working late when she gets the call. Grueling hours are standard in an elite law firm like Young and Crane, but they'd be easier to swallow if Lizzie was there voluntarily. Until recently, she'd been a happily underpaid federal prosecutor. With that job and her brilliant, devoted husband, Sam, she had everything she'd ever wanted, and then, suddenly, it all fell apart. No, that's a lie. It wasn't sudden, was it? Long ago, the cracks in Lizzie's marriage had started to show. She was just good at averting her eyes. The last thing Lizzie needs right now is a call from an inmate at Rikers asking for help, even if Zach Grayson is an old friend. But Zach is desperate. His wife, Amanda, has been found dead at the bottom of the stairs in their Brooklyn home, Brownstone. And Zach's the primary suspect. As Lizzie is drawn into the dark heart of idyllic Paris Slope, she learns that Zach and Amanda weren't what they seemed, and that their friends, a close-knit group of fellow parents at the exclusive Brooklyn Country Day School, may be protecting troubling secrets of their own. In the end, she's left wondering not only whether her marriage can be saved, but what it means to have a good marriage in the first place. So, when I first passed on this book, one of the reasons that I passed on it was because I'm not always a big fan of reading legal books, and I'm wondering if this was going to be one of those books that's going to have a whole lot of legal stuff, courtroom stuff, because I usually just am not feeling that at all. And I think The Holdout was the last kind of legal book that I've read, and in the past I've read some John Grisham books, but I'm just always not really a big fan of the legal books, so I passed on this one. But then I immediately started to regret it so much that I almost actually went and bought it on Amazon, but I decided to hold off and wait until I could get it as an add-on from Book of the Month. And I'm glad I did, because this is sounding like something I am definitely going to read again. I've had success with Kimberly McCreight in the past, and I'm hoping that she will deliver the goods again. And lastly, it's a book that I passed on, as I said once before, but this time I started to feel more interested in it after I joined this Facebook group from Book of the Month, or that follows Book of the Month, and people started singing the praises of this book more and more, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and give this one a try, and that is The Guest List by Lucy Foley. And so, the subtext is, you kill to be on it. The back cover says, The Guest List, an exclusive wedding on a remote Irish island. The bride, the plus one, the best man, the wedding planner, the bridesmaid. All have a secret, all have a motive, but only one is a murderer. So that's obviously the really quick summary right there. It's the wedding of the year, but someone won't survive it. On a remote island off the coast of Ireland, guests gather to celebrate the wedding of Jules Keegan and Will Slater. Will is a rising television star, handsome and charming. Jules is a smart, ambitious magazine publisher. Though the sea is a little choppy and the cell service spotty, their wedding is everything you'd expect of a young power couple. Designer, dress, 4-tiered cake, boutique whiskey, vintage champagne. Every detail has been curated to perfection. All that's left is to orchestrate is the happiness. But perfection is for plans, and people are all too human. It's not long after the cake is cut and the champagne popped that resentments and petty jealousies come out. Worse yet, the latest barometer reading shows that weather has shifted from fair to changeable, and dark clouds are looming overhead. Everyone on the island has a secret, everyone has a motive, and someone won't leave this wedding alive. So you got kind of the closed circle trope thing going right there, kind of like getting like the Agatha Christie vibe a little bit. And so it just sounded really interesting, and I just got through reading a book, kind of a closed circle trope thing where you have a small group of people and they're caught in one isolated location for one reason or another, and then a murder or some kind of crime happens, and then you have to solve it. And so kind of classic Agatha Christie again. And so I was excited about this one. I thought it was going to be really good. I don't know why I passed on it the first time I saw it, but I am definitely glad I picked this one up. So I feel pretty good about adding this one, The Guest List by Lucy Foley, to my collection. So there you have it, my Book of the Month haul for July 2020. I'm excited about it for a book set that I was maybe not overly excited about in the beginning, I turned out to be really excited about the books that I was able to collect. This is a good trio of books that I'm really looking forward to jumping into here as I continue inching closer to completing my Goodreads goal. I'm at 37 books so far this year, and I just started one recently. Actually, I'm at 38 books so far this year. I haven't added the one that I just finished. And so I'm well on my way to 50, well ahead of schedule, and I'm looking forward to adding at least these 3 more to my reading portfolio for the year 2020. So if you like the content on this channel and you're interested in BookTube content, please consider hitting the like button for this video. And if you're interested in BookTube content and AuthorTube content as well, then please consider hitting the subscribe button and then the bell notification for alerts as videos are posted to this channel. Thanks for joining me, and stay with me on this journey through more BookTube and AuthorTube videos.